would say so. I mean, he did all the right things.
Yeah, he seems like a really good guy.
Yeah, I'm very happy to have him.
I did not see neither one of us saw the interview. So if you want to talk about some of the highlights, that'd be probably good. And we can talk.
I'll just tell you what. I'll just give you the snippets that kind of jumped out to me. I mean, I was coming from another shoot, so I kind of had one eye on it and then one ear listening to it. I'm like weaving through traffic now because I got to get over here to take this interview with Marcus Brown.
Oh my gosh.
All right, if you guys are ready, let's do it.
Good.
Okay. All right, here we go. Welcome. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. You know the show. It's where we discuss sports topics from a business perspective. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Bruce McGowan, longtime radio sports personality. Today's show is going to be really special because we're going to have two guests. Who's our first one?
We're going to talk to our old friend Vern local television sportscaster, longtime Bay Area sports icon who has been covering the Kevin Durant sweepstakes, and not a sweepstakes, actually the Warriors signed him. So we'll get a first-hand look at that. And then Vida Blue will join us a little bit later on to talk some baseball, the former Giants and Oakland A's great.
Excellent. Okay, at each commercial break, we're going to ask a sports trivia question. We're going to be giving away a vacation to the first email with the correct answer. Those vacations are not sponsored by the radio station, but by Lighthouse Resort and Marina, located about 1 hour northeast of San Francisco. Those vacations are free. Their only request, a $100 cleaning fee to cover the housekeeping expenses. And by the way, we got a new sponsor here, paintball. You guys like playing paintball?
I don't know, Vern, you ever played paintball?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Those things hurt, man. Well, they just get.
Yeah, they do.
But it's
do.
fun. I'll tell you. So if you go to the Sports Econ 101 website and click on paintball, they're giving us the availability to give 85% off. So $210 worth of tickets, which is 6 all-day paintball tickets for only $30, and that includes the rental.
I can walk away with paint all over my body.
Yeah, exactly. And the best part is, we are a national show. These guys have hundreds of paintball venues all around the country.
Cool.
So go to Sports Econ 101 and just click on the paintball, and then from there, just take it from there.
All right.
All right. So today's trivia theme is going to be baseball in the 1980s. You guys should be able to get these questions, I would think. And when we come back, Vern Glenn's going to join us again because we're specifically going to talk about Kevin Durant joining the Warriors. I am so happy.
Well, we're based on the Bay Area, so naturally we are.
Of course.
Yeah.
Now, if I was in Oklahoma, maybe not so much.
Not so much.
And then, who else we got? David West, right?
Yep, David West, and also Zaza Pachulia.
Yeah, he's going to be a good one, too.
Yeah.
Okay, stay with us. You're listening to Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back. All right, let me just save this file, and then we'll get right into it.
Are you actually driving, Vern, as we're talking to you?
Yeah, I'm almost at the Broadway Street exit, so.
Well, we'll do a quick
We're
one
going to do
here.
really fast.
We'll do a quick one.
Yeah, no problem. We
That's
appreciate
okay.
you being available.
I'm just going to go ahead and
I hope you got one of those
save.
headset things on. Is that working for you?
Say again?
You have one of those headset things on, hands-free things?
No, I'm breaking the law.
Oh, jeez.
Uh-oh.
Oh, boy. Vernon.
You're a rascal? Okay, hold on.
You are a
I'm saving
rascal.
this file here, and we are ready to go.
Here we go.
All right. We'll
Here
get
we
faster
go.
at this.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan. And Bruce, tell us again who's on the phone.
Yeah, we got Vernon Glenn from KPIX, local television sportscaster, who is, as we speak, now this program is being taped, but as we speak, Vernon is on his way back from the Kevin Durant press conference, the newest Warrior and the sensation of the NBA right now, this move to sign Kevin Durant. I got to ask you first, Vern, were you surprised that the Warriors were able to get this guy? Because there was a sort of a 50-50 chance he would stay in Oklahoma City. What was your read on this situation?
I was very surprised. But then again, I didn't think they could get Andre Iguodala either, and they got him. So when I heard it right around the 4th of July, I was like, wow, really? No way. And then the more I thought about it, and the more real that it became, he was coming.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's got to come down.
I went through a couple of days shaking my head. Today was the actual reality of it. Coming out of it, I just can't wait for Halloween night because that's when the showtime really begins.
There you go.
Well, I haven't heard any of the interviews yet, but I got to think that he was just looking specifically at, this is like just best chance for a ring.
Basically, that's what it was. I mean, he was married to Oklahoma City for 9 years, and for whatever reason, things changed, and he saw where he not going to grow anymore and develop anymore as a player. The franchise wasn't going to develop anymore, and to get what he wanted, which was a ring, he had to leave. You know, and sometimes that's just kind of the way it goes. You grow apart, you become different, and you move on.
And he was going to make 10. He was going to make 10 figures no matter where he went. So what's the difference between 20 million and 30 million or 40 million, right?
Well, I mean, when you're one of the elite players among a field of elite men, it really the money's always going to be there. I mean, I don't think this really is about the money. This was about being happy and being in an environment where you can ultimately win.
You know, the thing is, though, we can make an argument. Oklahoma City was on the verge of going to the finals. They had the Warriors down 3-1. On paper, that was maybe not as good a team as the Warriors, but you can make the argument, geez, why is he leaving an Oklahoma City team that is just, almost at that point, the same level as the Warriors? I guess a lot of it also had to do, Vernon, with Warrior management and the players and just the whole environment of the Bay Area. Now, you could tell us better because you were at the press conference. Did he mention any of that?
Or dissension in the
ranks?
ranks?
He mentioned the fact that when he sat there, he was expecting the people to come in and just really kind of blow him away with presentations. That's what he got. But something happened with the Warriors. When they came in, and when the four primary guys came in, and he mentioned this specifically, Iguodala, and he mentioned the Splash Brothers, and he mentioned
Draymond Green.
Draymond Green.
Yeah.
When they came in, he was almost as if they came in holding hands. It just felt like a family environment from the jump. And on his underlining thing that he kept pounding away that whole press conference, start to finish, is that it was real and it was genuine.
Yeah, that's the thing that impressed me the most.
That's what really hit him home. He didn't really know those guys that well, but he was getting texts from those guys, and there's a relationship that he had with Ron Adams, who's the defensive specialist team. He was with Ron Adams for 2 years in Oklahoma City. It was a comfort zone that he felt where he just knew in his mind that this had to be where he needed to be.
Well, again, it's always been throughout the press about the warm environment of the Warriors.
Family environment.
Yeah, exactly. So you didn't have to sell him on that. He could see that by himself.
Well, and also, Vernon, relating to that, I was going to say, when I heard that the Warriors were sending a contingent of 4 players, plus Steve Kerr, plus Bob Myers, the general manager, plus, I don't know if Joe Lacob was there, but I mean, talk about a full court press. I mean, I thought to myself, wow, that's almost overkill, but at the same time, it shows they really wanted. He probably, as you mentioned, was impressed by the fact that they really, it's almost like you're courting the beautiful girl. You're doing everything. You're bringing her the flowers. You're going to take her to the best restaurant. I mean, she's impressed, and he was impressed.
Yeah, it was. It was. But then again, I mean, he said all of them were impressive, but for whatever reason, it was the comfort zone that he felt with those guys that really made up his mind. And they told him to a man, hey, the way they treat people here, and the way that they just ran things, just overall, it just felt right. So that was pretty much. That was pretty much it. They did the dog and pony show. They did the jersey presentation, and then that was it. Press conference actually went a lot faster than I expected.
It's funny. I've always made comments about how a lot of these guys get overpaid and all that. And this is the one time I think in my life I've looked and I said, I don't think this guy's overpaid. I mean, he really is that much of a superstar.
Well, what is he getting? Is it $27 million a year?
And this is the other thing that jumped out at me, guys. Could have come in with, hey, I'm Kevin Durant, I'm Durantula, I'm the superstar.
Durantula, I haven't heard that one.
But I could not believe the humility that he had in his press conference. Almost as if he was just like truly honored to be part of this organization.
And he was brought up to that
really impressed me.
Yeah, that's the thing I noticed about him. Whenever I saw him being interviewed or after the games during the playoffs and the semifinals, in the Western Conference Finals, actually, was the humility, and it's almost like he's soft-spoken, and I think that's one of the reasons the Warriors also went after him, not just because he's a great player, but because they know that he's not going to have that ego problem. He's not going to disrupt the balance. He'll just augment rather than detract from what they already have.
He was very respectful of the fact that this was Steph Curry's team. He even mentioned it, the fact that he just wanted to make sure that you guys really wanted me to be here. And they reassured him that, no, you'll be fine. You'll be with us. We'll make it work, however it is. and that was it.
And don't worry, you'll be a starter.
That's right. Yeah, you don't have to worry. We got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I understand he signed.
What's the little barometer on it? A little bit in these Rio Olympics because he's playing, and then the Warriors playing. So you'll see this is the starting five.
I was gonna say he also, maybe a lot of people might know this, maybe they don't. He signed I think a 2-year deal worth $54 million. Is that right? So it's $24
million with a player option for the second year.
Second year, but he has. Now tell me if I'm wrong, Vernon, because you probably know this better than I. I think he has a 10-year deal. He's in the middle of a 10-year deal with Nike for I think something like $300 million. Is that right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So he's not. Money is important, but it's not. It's more of a respect thing. But a guy like Durant, I think, like you said before, it's probably the chance to play immediately. Not next year, or not 2 years or 3 years, maybe with Oklahoma City, but immediately next year.
Well, and also, I was wondering about was there any dissension in the ranks?
I don't think in Oklahoma City there's that much dissension. There's been some talk, and Vernon, maybe you've heard some things. That Westbrook is a little bit of a divisive character, but at the same time, I think Durant is a kind of a guy who always got along well. Billy Donovan has a good atmosphere there. That's why I was a little like you. I was a little surprised he left Oklahoma City because that's a team on the upswing with a great coach, great front office, great fans, and a good core.
Well, we're not there every day, man.
That's true.
We're in and out. We're not there practice day to day. We have no idea what it's like to walk in those shoes.
Yeah.
With that organization.
Very true.
And we have yet to really publicly hear much from Russell Westbrook. That's what I'm waiting. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
I want to hear truly what he thinks.
I don't think he's too happy, but I think he also understands that his buddy is doing the best for himself, and I don't think he holds it against Kevin, but he's probably not happy about, wow, where am I going to go next year?
Yeah.
And I got to say, I'm very happy that Bogut and Barnes are gone.
Bogut and Barnes, and also Festus Ezeli is going to be gone.
And a lot because they're both going to be in Dallas.
Yeah. Very different.
I mean, because I can't believe Barnes had a contract for $94 million.
Yeah, for 4 years. Well, that's $16 million a year.
Yeah, but you're going based on what you saw in the playoffs. You didn't see the whole body of work.
No, but I mean, I was watching the whole season. He definitely was good at 3-pointers at the end.
Part of the season, he was hurt.
Yeah, he wasn't playing at full strength. There were a lot of guys beat up. Well, Vern, hey, man, I really appreciate you being with us here today. Anything else to add to the conversation before you get back to work?
Well, I thought at first, they would lose 8 free agents. They ended up losing 5 guys as we record this segment. So stay tuned. The whole bench is going to have a whole different face.
There you go.
Thanks, Vern Glenn from
PIX.
Yeah.
Good talking to you, Vern.
All right, buddy.
All right.
All right. So good guy, and boy, what a move! And we didn't mention even these are not big names, but Zaza Pachulia, pretty good. He could start. He's a good rebounder, big guy, and then also, of course, you pick up David West, a veteran who was
If they got Scott Adams, that's all they need. Okay, here we go. First trivia question: who was the National League home run king in half the seasons of the 1980s?
Oh, good question.
All right, stay with us. Sports Econ 101. We'll be right back.
All right,
right on the money.
Get Vida here. Okay. She's probably wondering where we are. Where are you guys? It's perfect. It's 2:30. That was great with Vern.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Do you have Vida's number?
I do. Okay. I do. Hang on just a second, and then we'll get it for you. I'm sorry.
Save this. That's all right.
Actually, reasons. Here we go. Okay. Hang on a second here. I'm going to call him myself just to let him know.
Because we're going to call him on the other line.
Yeah. Hey, Vida, we're going to call you right back on a different phone. I just want to make sure you're okay to go. Okay, we'll call you right back. Okay. So let me give you his numero. Just a second here. That was nice. I had a nice hike and I went and visited my dear old mom in the old folks' home.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, she's getting up there. Okay, Vida's number is 415
okay.
531 9588. There you go. Turn this off.
Hello?
Vida?
Yeah?
It's It's Edward Brown and Bruce McGowan. How are you?
How you guys doing? I'm good, man.
Good. Thanks for joining us.
We
All right.
just talked to your old buddy and our buddy Vern and Glenn about the Kevin Durant signing. That was fun.
Yeah. I thought I was having a press conference earlier, but that's the biggest news of the day, man.
It is. Well, let's talk some baseball. We'll talk a little All-Stars. Maybe you can tell some stories and talk a little San Francisco Giants, and we'll just have some fun here.
Okay, go for it.
All right.
All right.
Here we go.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan. When we get to the first commercial break trivia question, this was it regarding baseball. Who was the National League home run king in half the seasons of the 1980s?
Okay, we got Vida Blue on the phone. He's our next guest, and I'm going to give him a chance to answer that. I think I know the answer, but I may be wrong. Vida, do you want to venture or an answer on that one?
Well, what was the question again?
Okay, so who was the National League home run king in half the seasons of the 1980s?
All of the 80s?
Half of the 80s.
Yeah.
Okay, half of the 80s. I'm going to go with George Foster.
Oh, okay. I'm going to go with Dale Murphy.
No, Mike Schmidt.
Mike Schmidt!
Yeah.
We were both wrong. Yeah, Vida played, of course, in the 80s, and I covered a lot of games in the 80s.
And George Foster would have thought in the 70s.
I didn't think of Mike Schmidt. I thought of George Foster. I thought of Dave Steedman.
Yeah.
That's got to be him, yeah.
Well, it's a great pleasure having Vida Blue on. One of the really fine pitchers of the 1970s, was a big part of Charlie Finley's three-time American League and World Series champion Oakland A's, Cy Young winner, MVP in 1971 at the tender age of 22. Vida, and then of course you had a fun time with the San Francisco Giants, and now Vida works locally in television and does some radio work as well, covering the San Francisco Giants. And I want to talk about the All-Star game. Edward and I want to talk about that with you as well. But I got to ask you a little bit about this San Francisco Giants team, because Vida, you're seeing them a lot, you're covering them a lot, and outside of Johnny Cueto and Madison Bumgarner, they have some good players. But you look at their record as we speak; they have the best record in baseball, and they have half their guys on the disabled list. What's going on with this team? Why are they playing so well?
I don't know. I didn't see that coming either. Of course, injuries are part of the game, and they had some key players that are Duffy, Paddock, and of course Hunter Pence went down. Sergio Romo just got back from rehab. Matt Cain's been on the DL. I don't know. I'm amazed that they can make the call to Sacramento and find a guy to plug in at third base, second base, or first base, or right field. Even behind the plate when Buster takes the day off. And of course, when you're filling in for Hunter Pence or Joe Paddock or Duffy, just go out there and make the basic plays. And I think that's all Bruce wants to ask of the guys. It's not putting any more pressure on them to be a superstar. We just need you to go and play third base, and that's what they've done. And it's amazing that the culture of the Giants is where, when they bring a guy in from Sacramento, they sit it down and say, look, we don't want you, it's still baseball. It's the same baseball that you played when you were in Sacramento, when you were in San Jose. So just go out there and play the game the way you know how to play it, and give us your best effort. And I think guys have got to relax. But I also think guys know that if they're doing their thing in Sacramento, if someone gets hurt, they will not hesitate to call you up and put you on the Sacramento Express, as I like to call it, and get them into that lineup. And but the one problem that I think they've been exposed to over the last week or 10 days is middle relief. And they have some young guys that are coming in key situations where a lot of times it's the determined outcome of the game. And sometimes in Oakland Series they didn't get the job done. Of course, I think there was a Monday night game on the 4th and Madison start. They came in and did not get the job done. But all in all, they still have the best record in baseball. I think they like being under the radar. They don't make a big deal out of the fact that they are where they are in the standings either.
It's interesting. Vida, for those that are younger and don't remember this, or maybe you do have vague memories of it, Vida is one of those rare guys who played not only for the A's and starred with the A's on some great teams, but also had some legitimately very solid seasons in San Francisco. I can't think of another player who starred with both teams and achieved as much notoriety and success. And what was it like, Vida, for you going from the American League, where you had been a dominant pitcher, and all of a sudden, I guess it was in 77 or 78 when you came to the Giants, things were kind of going south for the A's, but things were starting to pick up for the Giants. But you were going to a new league. What was that like for you as a young man in your late 20s?
Well, it was a true test for me, as you mentioned, Bruce, coming over from one league to the other. You know, they talked about the strike zone was different, that it was a lower strike zone in the National League versus the American League, you know, which was a bunch of hooey. You know, a strike is a strike is a strike. A ball is a
I
ball.
always thought the American League had the lower one.
But one thing that, for me, coming over from one league to the other, well, more specifically coming from team A to team B, you still have to prove yourself to these guys, you know. They still had a good young team at Mona Fusco. Bob Ness was there. I know they still had Randy Moss and Gary LaBelle out of the bullpen, a left and right combination there. And they had a good young team, and I was just another piece of the puzzle to that. And we made a pretty good run in the 7-8 season. Of course, we set what became the all-time attendance record, which was only like 900,000. But we caught the imagination of the Bay Area, and it was a pretty good run.
Yeah, but you were one of the only ones who had a ring. Or two.
I bet you the other guys coming up to you saying, "Vida, show me your ring. We want one of those things."
No, you know, the problem was a lot of guys had not been in on winning teams, even in the minor league. And of course, my success with the A's coming over, having won 3 in a row, we just we didn't know how to close it out. And we had an 8-game lead going into September. And of course, under that old line that you played at home and home in your division. During that time, San Diego and Houston, Atlanta, Cincinnati were all in the West Division. So we go from 8 games out, 8 games lead to 14 games out. So it's like a 8 game swing. I'm talking, we were 6 games ahead. We end up going 8 games out. So it's like a 14-game swing there. And Cincinnati and just following up, leading up to the first place. And of course, the greater Dodgers won the division.
Yeah.
The good run for us, and they had a great young team, and I don't think they realized how good they were, man. You got to mention Jack Clark. I mentioned Bob Ness, but talk about Larry Herndon, who was pretty solid in the outfield, and a young Terry Whitfield that was doing his thing, and they just didn't know how to win. And it's unfortunate that they've had some great teams in the San Francisco baseball, but none have got the job done like the current crop of players that they have now, who have won 3 out of the last 5. We're going over this now, so
yeah.
And they're on a pretty good way.
So going on to the All-Star game, what do the Cubs have, like 5 starters?
Something like that.
I mean, you wonder now, when you were playing, was it the same way they stuffed the ballot box? Or was it different?
Yeah, I think you would take those ballots home and take an 8-pin and just punch them out. I mean, you would have parties. I heard of people invite folks over, and they grab a handful of things from the ballpark and just sit there and punch out 3 names and pass it on to somebody else, punch out another, and they stack them up and turn it back in. But we know for a fact that the All-Star game is a popularity contest, and rightfully so. And the game is in good hands with some of the great young players. Speaking of the Cubs, they have a crop of young players that are just off the chart as far as their ability goes. But, you know, the problem is collectively can they play as a team. And I think that's where the Giants have the edge with their young crop of players, that they buy into Bruce Bochy's method of playing baseball. We need to win the game. The objective of the day is to win the game. I don't care how, but I prefer you to basic fundamental baseball, make all the plays. Pitching is another form of defense, but they make all the plays defensively. They're not so flash, but they do basic stuff. And of course, that last road when they went to Pittsburgh, Panic got the game when he hit out of 2 of those 3 games, I think it was. So you think about the guys in that lineup. You think about how you're going to pitch around the Posies and the Crawford and the Bells, but at the same time, you got to be aware of a Crawford. You got to be aware of a. When he was out there.
Sure.
But it's amazing that they have a real low-key attitude about what they're doing. And they've been very successful.
That's the interesting thing about baseball, is that even though it's kind of an individual sport, it's still a team game. You know, especially for double play.
They have great. I didn't believe in all that we like each other stuff, but Steve living proof of it. I think you guys really do care for each other and care about what happens to each other on and off the field.
Yeah, you can't quantify that. I think it's so important that chemistry thing, and yet at the same time, you can have a team that doesn't maybe get along so well as you did in Oakland, where there were a lot of little tiffs between players. Was it Vida played it? For those that don't remember, Vida Blue played at a time when there wasn't as much media, but the A's were the darlings of baseball. They won 3 championships in a row. They were a monster team. But yet there were a lot of fights in that clubhouse. So what was going on?
Weren't they underdogs in every one of them?
I don't think they were in the third one. They might have been in the first one. They were against the Big Red Machine.
We were good talking too, Bruce.
Oh yeah.
We were good. Quote, at least our owner was.
Charlie Finley. Yeah.
A guy named Reggie Jackson who was a media darling.
Oh yeah.
He could fill the pages or fill the airways with quote after quote after quote, and I think he kind of took the pressure off of us. But I think the situation with the Giants, you have managed to do coaches who never throw his guys under the bus. It's a real laid back attitude, and I think it's very pleasing environment for a young player to come up. Our guy that's been traded from Ball State over to the Giants, come into that locker room, the continuity of the locker room, and how laid back the guys are. But some game time, they go out there and do their thing, man.
Hey, Vida, stay with us because we want to hear some stories when we come back from a break here. Okay, so here's our next baseball question. And Vida, if you know this one, don't answer it yet. We'll let you answer when we come back to break. What Phillies slugger, upon seeing Lake Michigan for the first time, asked, well, what ocean is that? The first email with the correct answer.
Wow.
First email with correct answer is going to win a free 3-day, 2-night stay at the Lighthouse Resort. Email Edward@sportsecon101.com. The answer to this question: what Philly slugger, upon seeing Lake Michigan for the first time, asked, what ocean is that? All right, don't touch that dial. Sports Econ 101 will be right back.
I remember hearing that quote, but I'm trying to remember who it was. You remember that quote, Vida?
No, I don't remember who that was.
Yeah.
When you find out the answer, you'll go, yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh, okay. All right. So where are you, Vida? What are you doing today?
Actually, I'm coming over to do some radio stuff with Bill this evening.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, we got a little slot. I think somebody's on vacation here, and I just doing today.
I love hearing you guys on the radio. It's always great. Yeah. That's why I had to call you up the other day. I was just getting ready to go to the beach. I just got to call my guys.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Appreciate you putting me on.
We appreciate that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you guys working together. You got a lot of passion. You got a lot of knowledge, and it's fun for the fans. I think they really enjoy it.
Yeah.
You guys do a great job. I'm not saying that just to make you feel good.
I try to make it just why guys have the success he's having. You hear all this stuff.
Yeah.
So we have fun doing it.
No, you do. I can tell. All right.
All right, here we go. Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan. Second trivia question. What Philly slugger, upon seeing Lake Michigan, Bright is already laughing at this one, upon seeing Lake Michigan for the first time, asked, what ocean is that?
And it had to be in the 1980s, right?
Yeah.
How did like this? Did they go to Deep Florida or something?
Yeah.
There you go. I'm going to guess Greg Luzinski?
No.
No.
But who's this Philly slugger?
I'm gonna go with
Who from?
I'm gonna go with I don't know who would.
Okay, I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
All right. Think of the All-Star game in the 80s against Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson didn't pitch in the All-Star game.
No, I think
John Kruk.
John
That
Kruk.
is correct. Remember
And
that?
John Crook's a bright guy.
I know.
I guess he's geographically challenged.
Well, unless he's Yogi Berra's.
I was going to say, Randy?
son.
That's right, Randy Johnson. I keep forgetting he did pitch in the 80s,
Yeah,
didn't he?
remember he threw the pitch against about behind his head?
Yeah.
And it sort of had a teasing looking back at each
Yeah.
other.
Okay.
got in the batter box right here.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. I was at that. I was actually covering that game. Well, Vida Blue played with the Oakland A's when Charlie Finley, the skinflint owner who always fashioned himself as a baseball genius, and you have to give Charlie credit. He's certainly had some help from his scouts, but he signed some of the, that Oakland team was basically made up. It was made up almost entirely of homegrown products. Vida, what was it like playing for Charlie Finley? Because he was kind of an irascible, unpredictable kind of an owner.
You you've had your encounters with that man.
Actually, no, I didn't. I didn't start covering baseball until about 1980, and he was just checking out. But I did talk to him on the phone once.
Man, I'm going to respect you guys, and I know you run a family show, and it sounds like a very wholesome show.
Yes.
I won't get into details, but Charles Evans was something to work for. He knew a lot of baseball. He put together some great teams, and he just didn't want to pay those to everybody. All those times we went in those 5 divisional titles and championships in a row, I think we might have been low on the scale as far as our payroll went, but
Hasn't changed.
he knew how to dangle a carrot in front of us, and he kept us hungry now. Because each and every year you were going out trying to prove to him that you were worthy of the $5,000 raise that you got from it.
Well, yeah, that's righteous bucks. It's the old, what have you done for me lately, right?
Might be being I'd say $5,000.
Yeah.
He didn't pay nobody. He didn't pay the black players, the white players, Puerto Ricans, Jews, the
Yeah.
Italians.
He treated you all like dogs.
Yeah.
It didn't matter what color or what race or what,
Well,
didn't
did
matter.
he actually say, hey, what have you done for me lately? That was last season?
He treated us all like poop. I'll say it like that.
There you go. Well, it's interesting. Vida was on the cover of Sports Illustrated a couple times, and one of the times I remember seeing him, it was when he was holding out, and it said Vida Blue, plumbing executive, because you were literally sitting out the season. You were going to work, I think, for a plumbing company. Was that just a lot of noise that the media was making?
Yeah, it was something that we talked about, Joey. But let me tell you, Bruce, I wanted to play baseball. I was born and raised to play baseball, and I was given the chance to play baseball, and I wanted to play baseball. But it was a young guy that was just learning the other side of the game, the business side of it. I didn't like it. It could be a very ugly thing. Talking about people's livelihoods, and we're talking about dollars and cents, and that we play the game because we have the ability to do it, but we also know that once you pay for your time and service, and that's part about it that I didn't like it, don't like it now. It's so sports serious. That's the nasty thing that has to happen, but guys have to stand up for what they believe in, and look at Dwayne Wade today in the NBA. I mean, he leaves Miami to go to Chicago. I mean, great Dwayne Wade, who has been all but 13 seasons with the Miami Heat. Of course, he had LeBron, and they won the championship, but now he's got to decide, do I stay in Miami and do, and of course, Miami has to decide, we want to invest money in a guy that on the last ring of his career. Probably not going to have so much, but he still has a lot left to say. So that's kind of sports that I've been enjoying. Even to the day, I still don't enjoy that part of it.
Well, Vern, let me ask you, because now you're back on TV doing commentating and stuff like that. But when you left baseball, what did you do right afterward?
Well, to answer that question, I got married.
Well, that costs,
I remember that
costs money. That doesn't make you money.
Yeah, I remember you got married at Candlestick Park too. But, yeah. Before a game.
Yeah, people ask me how much does it cost to get married. I said I'm still paying it off. It's 27 years. It never ends.
I remember that day very well, though, Vi, because I was covering the Giants at that time, and I think the marriage took place before the game, and it was a big crowd on hand. It was kind of cool.
Yes, yeah, it was Fan Appreciation Day, and the guy set up the mastermind, Bride, at that time, technically walked through the bat, and we made a big splash, man. It was a lot of fun, and we had the horse throwing character, and that's how Mario Alioto has that on his resume. That's one of the most.
Oh, is that right? It was Mario's idea, huh?
He talked about it, yeah, because I could to her at an old timers game at the Oakland Coliseum.
Oh.
And the A's weren't willing to host my bride to me and myself and have our wedding at the Coliseum. So I asked Mr. Wood, and he said no problem, and the rest is history.
Wow, it's interesting. I always say Vida and I have one thing in common. We both kind of wooed our wives at sports events. My first official date with my wife, I took her to a Giants game, sat in the booth where the TV cameras are, and there was a weeknight game of Candlestick Park in July, and it was freezing, and the wind was blowing, but we were nice and comfortably ensconced in this little booth, and my wife thought, well, this is kind of cool. I'm getting to sit in the booth in the best seat in the house. I'm not a big baseball fan, but here's a nice guy. That was kind of got me in the door with her. 22 years later, she's still putting up with me. I must have done something right, Vida.
Yes, you did, Bruce. And I bet your wife, she's a lovely really.
Yeah, I lucked out.
Congrats to the both of you for having each other.
Oh, and we're very lucky. And Edward here is, how long have you been married now?
This October will be 27 years.
Oh,
I don't know if I was born first or married first. It's been so long.
Well, I got to ask you, back to early 70s, the first A's championship to me was always the most special because it was the first for the Bay Area in pro sports, and it was also done without Reggie Jackson. Reggie had, for those that don't remember, Reggie tore his hamstring scoring the winning run in the American League Championship Series at Detroit. So you went into that series an underdog without your big slugger, and you won 4 one-run ball games, and your pitching won 3 of those 4 games in Cincinnati.
Yeah, a great Cincinnati team with Ken Griffey and Geronimo and Johnny Bench, Rose and Joe Martin. And but our pitching rose to the occasion, of course, at this and Robert King.
Yeah.
And Gene got hot at the right time, and he hit those 4 home runs. Yeah. And he was the X factor in the whole process.
Gene Tennis, he's talking about, yeah.
The first championship song was, at least to me, was the most special one, like you mentioned. First time you accomplish something like that, it leaves a good taste in your mouth. But of course, we went back in '72 and was lucky enough to beat the New York Mets, who I thought matched up a lot better than Cincinnati did, because the Mets had pitching. They had Seaver
and when they still had Willie Mays.
Yeah, that's Willie Mays' last game was played in Oakland, actually.
My favorite moment of the '72 World Series was Raleigh Fingers pitching to Johnny Bench. And it was supposed to be
ball
4, right? And I guess it was Gene Tennis, right? He was catching at the time. And he gets back into the squad, and Bench he's frozen.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be an intentional walk.
And in fairness, Bench handled that pretty well. He could have argued and said, "Hey, wait a second," but it was perfectly legal, I guess.
That's true. And only a Dick Williams managed to come up with something like that. I don't know that they were going to do that.
Yeah, you mentioned Dick Williams. That guy, to me, was one of the best managers in baseball. Very complex person. What was he like, Vida? How did you get along with Dick Williams?
I got along with him because I did my job. I kept him off my tail. So he was constant there. He's one of the few, might be the only manager I always called him the skipper, the name that you have to be better. Every time I saw Dick Williams, I always called him, "What's up, skipper?" And but he's the only guy that I referred to as the skipper. And he wanted to let you know that he was in charge when he walked in the room, especially during baseball season. He would get your attention. He would get in Reggie's case, Catfish's case, anybody with what he. And it wasn't tough love. He would just let you know that he expected more out of you and get your head out of you.
Well, someone like Reggie, who played all the time, is one thing. But like for you guys who were pitchers, you're in every 4 days or 5 days, and so it's a little different, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But he still expected you to make just a pitch on the mound. He hated guys giving up 2-out singles. He hated 2-out. 2-strike singles.
Yeah.
And I think there might be a fine bucket somewhere with about $8,000 or $10,000 in it, because he would fine anybody who made a bad pitch with 2 strikes.
What?
Like, man.
Yeah.
You got your attention. You didn't have to try to make the perfect pitch when you're heading the count, and you learn how to have a little bit more deception and let hitters chase pitches out of strike zone. That is the art of pitching.
Vida Blue, of course, was an outstanding. He broke in such spectacular fashion in 1971, winning both the Cy Young and the MVP. And Vida had this amazing ability to just ramp up that fastball and fire it in there. And one thing about you stayed pretty healthy throughout your career. You didn't have any arm problems. But it was interesting to note, in '72, I believe you came in relief in the World Series a couple times and acquitted yourself pretty nicely, didn't you?
Yeah, I think it was in '72, Bruce. I might have got up, and I'm not sure if I got in the game or not, but I did. Hey man, when you're that close to winning a championship, you do whatever it takes to get the job done. And
it's like Madison.
When the manager says all hands on deck and pitching staff are committed, that means that you grab your glove and put on your double spike and put out there. And if you get the call, you got to go out there and give them what you got, man. I was always happy to do that. Something I loved what I was doing.
Vida, what did you throw in the mid-90s?
Yeah, 94, 95.
Oh, okay.
But I learned to throw the 2-6 Taylor was gave a little bit more movement.
Yeah.
And just having a guy just tailing on it, that's a lot less than
It's interesting.
My equalizer still right in the matter.
Okay.
Yeah, I told Billy.
Stay healthy, man. Have good health.
There you
I
go.
told
Yeah.
Billy Bean to keep me in mind because I could throw in the high 60s.
There you
That would
go.
throw people off.
But the thing,
You know, they have a pitch on each roster, and he may not know who he is, but most times the manager call this guy the mop-up man.
Mhm.
The guy, when you give us those 8 runs in the first inning, and you let your starter pitch another inning until he's at max up right in, and it's 11 to nothing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So you put that full guy there, and you say, we need you to eat up some innings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not it's a thankless that I would never like to have, but at least you're pitching in the big league.
It's an interesting thing, too, about Vida. I don't know if our listeners know this, but after he retired, you came back and did actually helped out the Giants a little bit during spring training. And I remember traveling with the Giants a lot in the 1990s. And tell me if I'm wrong, Vida, I think you were on a couple of those trips helping out as a batting practice pitcher, weren't you?
Well, I did that a couple times with Dusty Baker. He was nice enough to let me tag along on a couple of those trips. And it's not something that I thought I could do every day. And I explained that I could give him some good batting practice, but like I'd have to throw like every other day, which I need to give a shout out to all the coaches on all these major league teams. Those guys, and sometimes they throw twice because guys want to come out early and hit, and they'll throw some in the cage
Hey, Vida, hold on. Stay with us just 1 second. I got to quickly run to a quick commercial break. Okay, really quickly. Who signed with the Yankees in 1980 for over twice the amount George Steinbrenner paid for the franchise? Stay with us. Sports Econ 101. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sorry, they give me a specific time that I got to cut these things off, and then we'll be right back.
And we're almost done here,
Almost
Vida.
done,
Thanks
yeah.
so much for doing
Yes,
this.
thank you very much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Beautiful day today, huh?
It is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, Vida, you live over in the East Bay, don't?
Overcast in the city?
What's that?
Is it overcast in the city?
You know, I don't. I looked this. We're over here in Marin, but the fog was coming in. The fog was coming in. Where do you live? You live in the East Bay, right?
Yeah, actually, I live in Tracy. I'm at a friend's house in one of the Creek Island.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, cool.
We just have a
Tracy used to be a little tiny town out in the boonies, and now it's almost like a bedroom suburb.
They got a mountain house and all that.
A lot
Get some-
of folks come in into the Bay Area every day.
That's it. There you go.
All right, we just have a quick 2 minutes, and we'll say sayonara. Here we go.
Okay, got it.
Welcome back to Sports Econ 101. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Bruce McGowan. Here was our last trivia question. Who signed with the Yankees in 1980 for over twice the amount George Steinbrenner paid for the franchise?
I think I know the answer, but Vida, you know the answer to that one?
Dave Winfrey.
Yes!
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Very good.
Yeah, very good. If we had the applause meter here.
Yeah. The fans go crazy.
The crowd goes wild.
That's
The
right.
crowd goes wild.
Well, Vida, thank you so much for.
How much did he sign for?
You know what? I don't have the figure here.
I think he got something like $3 or $4 million a year for 6 years. I think it was like a $24 million deal, which in those days was ridiculously high.
Yeah.
Today it's nothing, but in those days that was a big
Can you
deal.
imagine George Steinbrenner only paid half that?
I know. Well, Bob Lurie, when he bought the Giants in 1976, paid $7 million for that team.
Wow.
Yeah. And now they're worth like what?
$1 billion. That's got
Yeah.
A billion at least.
That's it.
Yeah. Chump change.
Chump change. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Vida, thank you so much again for joining us on
Okay,
Sports Econ 101.
Later, Bruce.
Good talking to you,
All right.
Vida. Vida, really one of the good guys in baseball. And it's fun because he's got one of those names that even the casual fan remembers, but he was such a impactful player during his brief time in the major leagues. And I say brief, he could have pitched longer, but he had some problems with, bouncing around from different teams, and then he lost it for a while, then got it back. Some guys just can't maintain it for forever, but he had a good.
One of the good guys in baseball.
He was definitely a good guy.
All right, we are going to cut out today. Here's our thoughts for the day. Don't run away from challenges, run over them.
I like that. I
Don't
like
you
that. Yes.
And Derek Jeter, soon-to-be Hall of Famer, said, there may be people who have more talent than you, but there is no excuse for anyone to work harder than you do.
That's true.
Is that true?
That is very true.
All right. Tune in next week to Sports Econ 101. We're going to be discussing sports topics from a business perspective. We're also going to be giving away more free vacations for answering sports trivia questions. And again, go to Sports Econ 101 website and check on the box that says paintball. It's 85% off. You'll click on it. You'll see exactly what we're talking about. $210 worth of paintball for only $30.
Nice. And I want to say, get a quick shout out to all the American servicemen who may be listening on the Armed Forces Radio Network. Good job, guys.
Excellent. Okay, thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm your host, Edward Brown. We'll see you next week.
Good night, America.
So long.
All right.
That's a nice little shout out to the boys.
Yeah. I think we're on Armed Forces. Might as well.
Yeah.
Gotta
Would
get
have
my,
been great to do it before July 4th, but
Yeah.
that's okay. We forgot. That's all right.